Rachel from Barre Centric, going over some helpful bar terminology so you can get the best out of your at-home bar workouts with us. Let's start with tuck. What the tuck is a tuck. A tuck is simply the pelvic bone tilting under, so your hips tilt up towards your rib cage, and you exhale and contract from there. We do that in a bunch of different positions. You can watch our other video on posture and alignment for more about the neutral spine versus the tuck and how we use those in our classes. Moving on to leg positions. We cue a bunch. First position, heels in, toes out. This is your natural turnout. We also cue narrow V, so that's like a smaller piece of pizza, smaller slice of pie, you'll hear us say. When we're working in diamond, we work with a narrow V, so just make sure you're not over turned out for the diamond position. We also will cue parallel. So parallel is where your feet make this 11 shape. Toes forward, heels back. We usually say hip width, or we'll do wide parallel, or we cue sixth. So if we say sixth position, that's inner thighs zippered up. We also do second position, toes turned out. We usually do a series here, and that's just basically if you take wide parallel, turn it out to your natural turnout, and bend down. That's second. We'll cue fifth position where you take your right heel to your left toe, lift up. We'll work from here. If we say fourth, find 4 to 6 inches between the feet. We also will do that in parallel, so just taking the toes forward, heels back. Same exact positioning though with the feet. Other terms that we will cue that you might not have heard before if you don't come to our classes, plie is just simply to bend, and relevé is simply to rise. So if you hear us say that, that's what that means. Working through the arms, we'll cue a couple ballet arms. Since we all have dance backgrounds, we like using the ballet arms because they create a nice line through the wrist. Take your fingertips to your belly button, grab a nice beach ball, shoulders down, space between your armpits, and this is first position. Take that same shape, lift it up, here's fifth position, make sure the shoulders are down. In our class, we do a lot of pressing and rolling the shoulders down and back. So if you're not in our classes, but you're doing this from home, just check in on those shoulders whenever you lift your arms up. Come back to first and open, you'll find second position. Make sure you're not back here, recruiting the back muscles, make sure you keep the arms forward, and you see your hands with your peripheral vision. Close it, open, first, second, and fifth. So something else you'll hear us say is talk about the supporting leg versus working leg. For example, in thigh extension, this leg in the air would be your working leg, and the other one would be your supporting leg. Now both of them engage no matter what you're doing, but just know if we're cueing working, it's usually the one off the floor, and if we're cueing supporting, it's the leg on the floor. Also with regard to the feet, we'll also cue whether you should flex or point your toes. So flexing, you're just lifting the toes towards your hip, and pointing, you're stretching your toes away. The important thing with pointing is that you're not cramping too much or over pointing, just make that nice straight line. Getting into some helpful bar positions that we'll cue in these videos. One would be a flat back foldover. Quite literally, take your back, fold it in half, that's your foldover position. We'll use this for a lot of glute exercises. Important to know what we're doing with the arms. Sometimes they're stacked, sometimes they're extended, sometimes one is lifted, and that really makes a difference of what muscles we're targeting. So pay attention to that, and pay attention to whether the feet are parallel or turned out. Another exercise you'll hear us say is thigh dancing. Take a fist between your knees, keep the space between your knees and toes, lift your tailbone up, and work from here. Make sure that the shoulders stay over the hips, that neutral line in your spine, and you're not forward putting pressure to your knees. Following thigh dancing, we have back dancing. It's also called the bridge. Knees over the ankles, lift the hips, make sure the core stays contracted, and press your heels firmly into the floor to engage your glute muscles. If you hear us say pretzel, take both of your legs in a 90-degree angle, roll the hips and shoulders forward. You can always modify pretzel on that elbow. Moving on to some core positions, we'll cue the spine and core a lot. So sometimes we'll work in a flat spine or a rounded back. You might also hear us say C-curve spine. That's quite simply just making a C with our spine, drawing the abdominal muscles into hollow out there. Another position we cue a lot is low curl. Low curl, we have the head, neck, shoulders off the floor, but the rest of the spine on the floor. There's a couple yoga poses that we'll use in our classes. We do a lot of down dog stretches, so just lifting the hips, sending the heels back, stretching out the hamstrings. We'll also cue child's pose. Knees wider than the hips. Reach the arms forward, roll the shoulders down. For some stretches, we'll cue cat and cow. So when we're on all fours, drawing the belly up, rounding the spine for cat, lengthening and lifting the chest for cow. We also do half and full cobra. So if we're ever lengthening up the core muscles here in cobra, you can always come down into half cobra or even come down further to modify. Moving on to shaking. So you'll hear this a lot. Embrace the shake. Shaking means changing. And just to break that down for you, if you're newer to Barre, you might be recruiting some different muscle fibers that you haven't used in other exercises. So a lot of our classes are going to kind of find those slow twitch, those type 1 muscle fibers, and we're going to work those muscles to fatigue. So you're going to start to get to that point of exhaustion and feel that shake. Don't be afraid of that. You'll start to love it. We love pushing you guys, and we love those shaking muscles because they do start to mean that you're targeting those muscles correctly. Another buzzword you'll hear about Barre is that these classes are low impact. So that means one foot is on the floor at all times. We're getting a full body workout with keeping one foot on the ground, and all that means is that we're able to engage and contract your muscles without putting any strain or pressure to your joints. Let's talk about down an inch, up an inch. In a lot of our working zone positions, quite literally, you go down and up. It's 1 inch movements, very, very small. You want to make sure you're working with control. Think of a paperclip size, that's all it is. We start to turn this into a pulse. Same super tiny little range. There's a hold at the bottom or a hold up if we're pulsing up. So again, just listen to the cueing, but focus on tiny movements, lots of control. Something else you'll hear is cue is a bend stretch. So if you have your leg extended, bend stretch, bend stretch. The bends are tiny, quick releases. We're focusing on the stretch. An isometric contraction. You're going to hear this a lot in a lot of our classes. It's simply a muscular contraction without movement. So think of a plank. You're not changing any joint angles or moving at all, but you will start to feel those muscles burn. In our classes, we cue them as static holds usually. So if we'll be working and we'll just say static hold, you're freezing. You're